Have you ever felt like there's an invisible ceiling on what you can achieve? Well, today we're cracking open a book that's been shattering those ceilings for decades, The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. What if I told you the single biggest thing holding you back isn't your talent or your brains, but just the size of your thoughts? Let's dive in. The whole idea of this book really boils down to this one powerful quote. It's not about your IQ, not about luck, not about who you know. At the end of the day, the success you experience is a direct reflection of how big you're willing to believe. It's that simple and that profound.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the real secret to success. Then we're going to diagnose a sneaky little disease that holds most people back. From there, we'll get super practical with habits to build confidence, a formula for a 10-year vision, and finally, how to make this whole big thinking thing your new normal.
All right, first things first, let's tackle a huge myth that we've all been fed. You know the one, that incredible success is just for the chosen few, the super geniuses, the prodigies, the people who just got lucky. But what if that's all just a story we tell ourselves?
See, Schwartz argues that for the most part, we all have what it takes. You know how to learn things, you're capable, you can show up and do the work. The real difference maker isn't having some special secret ingredient. It's about deciding you're going to build a skyscraper instead of a garden shed with the exact same tools.
And that brings us right to the main event, the magic of thinking big. It's the idea that your bank account, your happiness, your overall life satisfaction, it's all tied directly to the size of your thoughts. If you think small, your brain goes, okay, small it is, and finds a path to small results. But when you think big, well, that's when you unlock its true power.
And here's the kicker, the real paradox of it all. The one thing we're all taught to do to be safe and responsible, setting realistic goals, is actually the very thing that guarantees we'll never achieve anything extraordinary. We put a ceiling on our own potential before we even start. So if being realistic is the trap, what's the bait? Schwartz has this brilliant name for it, Excusitis. He calls it a mindset disease where we come up with perfectly logical reasons for why we can't succeed. The best part? It's 100% curable.
He breaks down the most common strains of this disease. You got the health excuses, I don't have the energy. The vaccine for that? Be grateful for the health you do have and use your energy. Don't hoard it. Then there are the intelligence excuses. I'm not smart enough. The cure is realizing that your attitude is way more important than your IQ. And of course, the age excuse. I'm too old or I'm too young. The antidote is simple. Just start now.
Let me tell you a quick story from the book that just nails this point. Schwartz was at this sales conference, and there was this one guy, Harry, who had earned a whopping $25 million. Now, the average guy in that room, just $5 million.
So, of course, everyone's wondering, what's this guy's secret? The VP gets up and asks the room, is Harry 5 times smarter than the rest of you? Turns out, nope, his tests were pretty average. Okay, does he work 5 times harder? No way. He actually took more vacation than most. Must be a sales territory, right? Wrong again. The only difference, the only thing that separated Harry from everyone else was that he thought 5 times bigger. While everyone else was aiming for what they thought was a good year, Harry just started from a place of believing he could do 5 times that. And his actions, his energy, everything just rose to meet that huge belief.
Now, here's something that might sound totally backward, but it's so true. It's actually less competitive when you aim higher. And why is that? Well, because almost everybody is conditioned to aim for the middle. They think the top is overcrowded, so they all rush to this one crowded street, fighting tooth and nail for average rewards.
And the data, it completely backs this up. You can have literally up to 250 times more people applying for an average-paying job than for a top-level executive job. The real dog-eat-dog competition is at the bottom. That first-class street with the major awards, it's surprisingly wide open.
Okay, so you're on board. You're ready to think bigger. But how do you actually build the raw confidence to believe you can pull it off? Well, Schwartz gives us 5 incredibly simple physical habits. Think of them as a direct prescription for self-belief. And these aren't just random little tips. They are physical actions that literally send signals to your brain that you're a person who matters. Sitting up front, that conquers the fear of being seen. Making eye contact says, I'm your equal. Walking with a bit more pace tells your body you're important. Speaking up breaks that passive observer habit. And smiling? A big smile actually changes your brain chemistry and makes it harder to feel down.
Now that we've got that confidence brewing, it's time to give your brain a destination, a really clear, exciting target to aim for. This is the how-to part. The formula for creating a vision so powerful, your mind just has to start figuring out how to make it happen.
The process itself is super simple. First, you just let yourself dream, no limits. What does your perfect life look like in 10 years? Then you work backwards. What needs to happen in 5 years to get there? In 1 year? And here's the most crucial step. You take one small, real action today that moves you just a little bit closer.
And you want to get specific here. Cover the big 3 areas of your life. What's your income? What kind of role do you have? What's your home like? Who are your friends? What kind of impact are you making? The more detail you feed your brain, the clearer the instructions and the harder it works for you.
It all comes back to this, doesn't it? The life you end up living is a direct printout of the thoughts you consistently hold in your mind. You are literally setting the boundaries of your own reality every single day.
So you've created this awesome vision. It's exciting. But how do you protect it? How do you keep the small thinking and negativity of the world from creeping back in and shrinking your dreams? You have to build a system to make thinking big your default mode.
Here are 3 absolutely essential practices. 1. Get exposure. You have to feed your mind a steady diet of big ideas, from books, from mentors, from people who are playing a bigger game. 2. Seek solitude. You have to carve out quiet time to think, to let your own big ideas breathe without all the noise. And 3. Invest in yourself. Spending on your knowledge, your health, your experiences, that's the highest return investment you will ever make.
I think this is the perfect way to wrap your head around this whole concept. Your brain is the most powerful GPS on the planet. If you type in a small, fuzzy destination like a slightly better job, it'll find you a short, uninteresting route. But if you give it a big, exciting, crystal clear destination, it will work 24/7 to calculate every possible turn, every shortcut, every scenic route to get you there.
So I'll just leave you with this. It takes no more mental energy to fantasize about a Rolls-Royce than it does to think about a Volkswagen. The effort is exactly the same. The only difference is the destination you dare to type into that GPS between your ears. So my question to you is, which one are you going to choose?